to CSL Leesburg. Our theme for this year is Living Everyday Wonder. And our focus for the month of February is Inner Life. The title of our talk today is Forgive to Live, and it will be given by Charlene Banks, our spiritual director. We're so glad that you could take time out of your Sunday morning to join us today. Sit back and relax as we officially start our service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
Waiting for me, waiting for me, in the quiet and stillness, waiting for me, holding a high watch, ever at ease. Love will always be waiting for me. When I get discouraged or distracted by the stories life keeps telling me, when I get so worried or gets blurry and I forget who I am, love is waiting, waiting for me, waiting for me, in the quiet and stillness, waiting for me. Holding a high watch, ever at ease. Love will always be waiting for me. Even on the days when all feels lost, there at the crossroads, love is beckoning. If I take a moment to decide, let my heart guide, I find you there, waiting, waiting for me. waiting for me. Waiting for me.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so beautiful. And now we'd like to add a little reminder that you should feel free to add to the chat or in the comment section any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later in the service when we provide our community's spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. And now it's time for us to move into meditation with Charlene.
Thank you, Tamara. And thank you, Leah. I know that was a recording, but every time I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, Spirit is waiting for me, holding the high watch in the middle of when things are so busy and it seems like everything's going crazy. There's a part of me that's waiting for me and that's holding me. So let's go within and kind of make some contact with that part of ourselves right now. Just, if you feel comfortable, go ahead and just relax. Relax into the seat that you're sitting on. And allow your body to just let go of whatever tension that may have been holding it. Whatever anxiety may have accompanied you on your way to service today. Just letting it go. Letting it go and closing our eyes and breathing into that center of our very being. I liken it to a still, small, flickering flame that is just right there at the core, the essence of our being. This is our little pilot light. It keeps our entire soul connected to the divine. Breathing, allowing these bowls to just deepen our awareness of our oneness with the divine. And in this space, we hear the voice within say, "Peace, be still." In this stillness, we feel that connection growing. With all of the external things that we feel with our senses, those move to the background. And what comes up now is our awareness that there's something deeper going on. Something beneath all of the things we can see, feel, and touch. It's connecting us us to the greater, higher truth, divine truth, who we really are. We are one. We are all connected. Feel that connection. And now imagine in your mind's eye that the little light, the little pilot light of ours that is the divine inside as us is now growing, and it's making contact with the other lights around us in our household, in our city, in our state. The lights are shining brighter as they connect with each other, and it goes and grows into the entire country. Indeed, the entire planet, connected to one another, each with a little tiny light that shines. In our unique way, we are different yet the same. Separate yet one. Both at the same time. Individual, yet united. What we do, what we feel matters. Who we are matters. How we vibrate, how we show up in the world makes a difference, because we are all connected. So we raise our vibration. We focus on love, light, goodness, and the divine truth of who we really are, knowing that in doing so, we change ourselves and the world. So allow your energy to simply rest there, knowing that at any time we can return to this sense of connection to something greater than that which we are. Because that is the truth of our being. And when you're ready, just return back here to the room where our bodies meet the earth, or whatever it is we're sitting upon, how that rises up to meet our bodies and how it supports us, just as spirit supports our very being. So thank you, God. Thank you, life, for expressing yourself as me through me. I release and let it go, and so it is. And now we get the soul pajamas. We're so blessed to have the soul pajamas here with us.
So today's theme is about forgiveness, inner and outer forgiveness. And this is my very, very favorite Rumi poem of all time. And it's been put to music. And I think this is, I don't know anything that describes forgiveness in a more expansive, comprehensive way than this poem. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. There is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas and language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas and language, even phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. I love that. That's pretty much the talk. So I think we're done, right? Out there in the field, there's something beyond the wrongdoing and the right doing. I'll meet you there. I love it, you guys. Wow. And the soul lies down on the grass. Oh. And then words don't make any sense anymore. Have you ever been there? Like, you've been there, where you're like, what do words even mean? And you don't even have to be high to ask that question. I remember there's times when I'm so into the thought of the thing that now the thing that I'm thinking about is not even real anymore. And it's not strange, because I was reading this weekend about this book. And I told you guys on the first Sunday, I mentioned how this book, Radical Forgiveness, is the one for the month. And this is the day that I talk about this book, right? And when I was reading some of the things in the Bible, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've explained so much. I'll talk about the book in a second, but what's really funny is this book came out in 97, and I read the book then. This is a completely different book, though. Is it? Yes, it is, because I'm different. It's as if I never read any of the words here. It's crazy. So what's going on with Radical Forgiveness, and what is it about Aaron and Dan's song that made me jump to, yeah, sometimes words don't even mean anything anymore. In this book, Radical Forgiveness, which I hope you guys at least read the first chapter, because, oh my gosh, so much to talk about. It says in chapter 13, physical reality is an illusion created by our five senses. Matter consists of interrelating energy fields vibrating at different frequencies, which explains a lot. Explains why sometimes we're looking beyond, words don't even mean anything anymore, because they're a different vibrational level. And so I'm going to start at the beginning of my talk, because that was one of those glimpses into the future. But first thing I want to talk about is this. Bad things happen to people. Would you agree? I mean, yeah,
Like, we're not that teaching that says, no, nothing's ever bad. That's crazy. Of course, things can be terrible. Terrible things happen. And we'll call it trauma. Now, trauma, I looked it up online because that's the official, right? Here it is. I looked at a bunch of different articles. What does trauma really mean? Now, some people say it's anything that happens to you that you didn't expect is trauma. But for it to be a clinical use of the word trauma, here's what it is. Loss of control. Maybe a betrayal. Maybe someone abused their power and it affected you. You felt helpless. There's pain, confusion, and of course, any loss, any big loss. That's considered traumatic. And then the idea of clinically defining it is so that you could get treatment. And we're still working on the level of humanity, the human, life, just the five senses, three-dimensional world here. When trauma happens, you'll have a response. So there's going to be a response that if it doesn't go away in about a month, then you should seek treatment. And so that response, as you can imagine, is either with flight, fright, you freeze. Sometimes you can't get out of bed. You've got headaches. We all know what it looks like to be right after a traumatic event. Now, it's called, acute traumatic disorder if it's over within a month or so. But if it's longer than that, it's post-traumatic stress, where this is a debilitating, you still can't get out of bed. It's been 3 months. You still can't even, look at certain people in the eye because it triggers something. That's when we get treatment. And all of this is just clinical stuff that everyone knows, that you could look it up online. And unfortunately, we've all been through some sort of trauma. Now, what does that have to do with our teachings? Well, here we are, human beings, walking upon the earth. But part of us is something bigger. Part of us is that spiritual connection. We know something else is going on. We know, just like through the meditation, that there's something within us. And it's this little tiny little spark sometimes. And we get a glimpse of it sometimes. That there's something more going on. And in this book, the author, Colin, talks about, he thinks of it like this. So this is a set of binoculars where in one lens, you're looking at the world of humanity. And that is everything that shows up in the world. Five senses, all the material things that you can sit on, move, and, smash into. The world of humanity. There's another world in the other lens, the world of divine truth, where we know something deeper is going on. This is the metaphysical world that many philosophers talk about. That is the underlying truth about things. And we get glimpses of it, but chances are you're not going to stay there long because we are physical beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So a lot of times the human part of it does gain the most of our attention. So when something horrible happens to us, pain, a loss, any sort of trauma, we immediately can go right into victim consciousness, which is the conviction that someone else has done something to us. And because of that, we do not experience happiness right now. That's victim consciousness. I'll say it again. Someone has done something to us, and because of their actions, we cannot experience happiness or joy right now. And that's no way to live. So what do we learn? Jesus taught forgiveness. How many times shall I forgive? 7 times? No, 7 times, 70 times. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. We hear it every day. You turn the other cheek, and so forth and so on. Now that's great. Forgiveness is awesome. And it is what you do when you're living in the world of humanity. This is how you release bitterness, right? And it's how you move on. You forgive people. It's just, everybody knows that, right? You just forgive them. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Sometimes you have to be willing to forgive before you can even think about forgiving. You have to be willing to think about forgiving. And if you can't, you have to be willing to think about forgiving and add as many willings in there till you can get there. That's normal too. So this is the regular forgiveness, but traditional forgiveness, does it remove victimhood, victim consciousness, does it? No. I know some of you are surprised. No? Forgiveness doesn't free me of victim consciousness. No, it doesn't. If you think about traditional forgiveness, it sounds like, all right, I forgive you, but you know what you did, right? I forgive you. I'm not going to forget because you did that to me. And I may be able to get past it, but I'm never going to forget it. Now, I have to tell you, I am guilty of this kind of forgiveness. I have in me the forgiveness of the superior person who shall forgive you. I've done this. I recognize myself in these pages. And it's humbling. It's so humbling. And then so when we read about radical forgiveness, this Collins idea of radical forgiveness, I'll show the title again because it's pretty cool. It's a good looking book, right? Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping, if you're thinking of getting it. So listen, he says radical forgiveness is the willingness to forgive, just like the other kind of traditional forgiveness. I'm willing to forgive, but I don't need to condemn the other person because there's nothing to forgive. They didn't do anything wrong. What they did, so-called what they did to me, they did it for me. Oh, so that's like, wait, say what now? They did it for me? So you get smacked and you're like, thank you, sir, may I have another? You did that for me? Well, go with me on this, because radical forgiveness transcends traditional forgiveness. Traditional forgiveness assumes that everything going on is the stuff that we can see in the physical world, and that's all that's happening. So if that's all that's happening, you're right, he's wrong, you forgave him, but he's still wrong. That's what's going on in the physical world. That's traditional forgiveness. Radical forgiveness says there's something else going on. Something else going on. We're looking now at through both lenses of the binoculars. There's a divine truth, something underneath what it looks like. Now, you're right. He's not wrong, because the divine truth is that your soul needed to heal in the way that he caused you to feel the pain around. So somebody did something to you and your soul felt pain. You felt pain within, and it's just that deep visceral pain that you just want to do one of those primal screams. That underneath what it looks like, there's a divine truth that you orchestrated this. What now? I orchestrated it. Yes, your soul is trying to evolve. And perhaps there's something going on bigger than just the physical world. Perhaps we are spiritual beings that were connected together in another dimension before we took human form. And perhaps there was an agreement that you wanted to work on this area in your life. But in order to work on it, you had to incarnate into a physical body, because this is how you get emotions and this is how you feel things. Unfortunately, the cost is that you need to forget who you really are. To incarnate in a human body, you need to forget that you're one with all that is, and there is no problem. You have to forget that there is no duality. You have to actually buy into it 100%, into duality, separation, change, fear. You got to buy in 100%, and then your best buddy who's on the other side, who loves you deeply, has agreed, so I'm going to come into and I'm going to mess you up. And you said, okay, this will be fun. You just forgot. It's a deep idea. It's kind of nuts, I know, but just work with me, because this book is just, it's radically transformative. So, If we can believe that something more is going on than what we can see, hear, touch, smell, taste, and that perhaps what we're going through is a wake-up call to move in the direction and grow and transform our souls, then this situation is perfect for that. And so we don't have to know right at that moment to say, thank you, sir, may I have another? It might take us a while because we are human beings and we do have feelings in it. We would never counsel someone who's just been traumatized in this radical forgiveness. You'd give it a while so they could, get their heads around it. But the idea is that your soul wants to evolve through this experience. And if not this one, there'll be another one. There'll be another one just like it till we get the message. And the lessons might become bigger and bigger and bigger until we're, get this already. Get it, because you came onto this planet to evolve in this way, and we keep trying to help you, but you keep picking another one, just like the last one. So learn it already. Learn the lesson. So we forget who we are. We bump into something, it hurts, and we can blame the other person, forgive them and remain a victim, or we can do radical forgiveness and start to grow through it. And then we use the experience to find out more about ourselves than we could have ever known. In the first chapter of this book, which I hope everybody reads, because I can't tell you the whole story, it's too long. But there is an example, and he takes his sister all the way through radical forgiveness from the beginning of what it looked like, where her husband is just now acting crazy and causing this kind of pain to her, and she's going to leave him, and she's talking to all her friends, and they all agree. And where she ends up seeing that she has this to learn. Her soul created this scenario for her so she could grow. And then there's no coincidences where you look at some of the stuff that came up, and it's like, wow, how is it that they're both, is that a coincidence? And her brother Colin's like, no, that's not a coincidence. The soul, spirit, there's something going on at a deeper level. None of this stuff is by accident. So he says what happened, or what appears to be cruel behavior, nasty behavior on someone else's part, might be exactly what we need and have indeed called forth. Situations that appear to be the worst that could possibly befall us may hold the key to our own healing. Something deep within us that keeps us from being happy and prevents our growth is up for healing right now in this situation. The people who seem to us to be the most troublesome and the least likable may therefore be our greatest teachers. What we think they do to us, they do for us. So think about that. Who in your life, now that you have this different lens on with your binoculars, one rooted in reality and in traditional forgiveness, and the other one in divine truth where you could see beneath the appearance of things, who in your world is your gift? I remember I was telling Dream Study about a dream I had of a woman who has passed on, but at the time she annoyed me the most, and she had no idea she was doing it. She's just being nice, and I'm like, I've never felt as not good enough as when this woman started talking around me. And I know that that's one of my main things. I know for sure. In this book also, Colin has a worksheet where you get to go, all right, I'm triggered, I'm pissed, somebody, and then you write out some things, and it takes you back to your root trauma. Usually it happened when you were very, very, very young, and for me, it's, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Why did I think that? I was this little kid that would cry. Ask my mom. Ask anyone who knows me, who grew up with me. Really, I'd cry like a fool in the crib, and I just wanted people to come get me. I didn't like being in the crib, and I think I must have been one or two. Nobody would come, and I would cry. Nobody would come. And I think that they were under the teachings of let them cry it out. That was the thing in the 60s. Let them cry it out. And I just know, for me, I was not good enough. That the people who were supposed to love me and hold me and take care of me had no care in the world. I wasn't worthy of their attention. And how many times have every time I come up with this reaction, this thing I'm doing, it goes back to yet again, I'm not good enough. And that these worksheets that you do, I've done these worksheets in another teaching too, called the quantum process, but it's all the same. You go back to the original belief and find out what it is. When was the first time you felt like that? The very first time. And then you write out all of the stuff. And then when you see it, that's how it's revealing itself right now, it all kind of fizzles. You no longer have that hold like a tug of war where you're right and they're wrong, because that very same sentence out of that woman's mouth to somebody else, it would have just fallen off their back. It was me. I took every comment that she made and took it personally. Well, what do you mean? Well, how dare you? Of course, just because I was so busy trying to prove myself, because I didn't think I was good enough. And in this dream I had, she was there, and I was still like, And then I realized, oh my gosh, I guess that's up for healing. I guess I have to see all the other places that I still am working too hard, trying to be good enough, people please. I am already good enough. I just have to remember that. And so that's my personal work. What's yours? And won't it be fun to do that work together? I mean, isn't that why we found each other here on this plane? If it's true that we all kind of know what we're doing and we all came to do this soul's journey together, isn't it awesome we found each other as a community and we get to do it together? I love it. So hopefully we can talk more and you guys can read some of Colin's stories in the book. It's so deeply interesting to me, although apparently I've read it before. I don't remember any of it. And isn't that just the way things are? All right, so let's go within and just do our prayer. I know that deep within each and every one of us, there is a divine spark. That spirit replicated itself as us. It's never the same inside any two of us. We're all unique expressions of the one. We all know that we came from the divine, and to the divine we shall return. And while we're here in these little meat suits known as ourselves, we get to live and expand and grow and evolve our souls in just the way we want. I know that there is no separation. The truth about us is that we are all one. I know that there is no fear. There shall be no fear. That's not a divine truth. But I do know also that wherever there is an experience of fear or worry or pain or loss, that right there is the heart of God, the heart of Mother, Father, Divine, Spirit, holding us. It is bigger than any circumstance that we can ever experience. It holds our highest good in its heart. This divine energy accompanies us wherever we go. We only need to see it. We only need to pay attention to it. And it is there. And so I do give thanks that we are so connected and we are so loved on this journey. I do give thanks. And so it is. Amen. All right, Soul Pajamas, take us out.
I think you're really going to like this song. Hang on a second. This is a Jason Mraz song, and I think it really captures a practice, a way of looking at others who you need to forgive, including yourself. It really helps you see the big picture. I think you're going to like it.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone.
People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all had. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone. Celebrate all our mistakes if there's a silver lining. Silver lining. You still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are. You're just like me. I see you searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are. I'm just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying till it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature. Everyone is God. Everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good. Look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes and maybe they should. Look for the good. Look for the good. Yeah, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good. Look for the good. Life would sure be sweeter if everybody would. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone.
Oh, thank you so much, Charlene. And thank you so much, Soul Pajamas. I think I'm going to have that song going through my head for the rest of the day. And now it's time for us to bless the donations that are shared with our center today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. As you can see by looking at the screen, there's so many ways for you to give. It's easy to find a way that will work for you. So now let's just take our blessings and put them over our hearts, no matter how you are giving. It might be physically, it might be electronically, but just take that and place it over your heart and join me as we say our affirmation of oneness, our blessing of the gifts. The presence of the Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. Now it's time for some announcements. So right after the service today, in just a few minutes, we're going to have a special membership meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to vote on some changes that we're proposing to our bylaws. And we also have some leadership council membership open positions. We need a secretary. We're looking for a member at large who will serve on hospitality, making everyone feel welcome at our center. And also we need a special media liaison. So that's going to happen in just a few minutes when we wrap things up. So stay with us. Also, here's an invitation for later on in the week on Tuesday, which, by the way, is known as Tuesday because it's the 22nd of the second month in the year 2022. So it's Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Join Charlene and her friends for their dream study. This is when they get together and everyone shares their dreams and just explores, and your friends will help you interpret your dreams. And then on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock, we dive a little deeper. After service today, we share our pearls. What really resonated with you from today's service or from the music, for the meditation? So we'll talk about that after service today, but then we do a midweek check-in on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock. We check in and we say, how is this message that you received on Sunday about forgive and live? How is that just staying with you? How is that resonating and being made part of your spiritual practice? What new thoughts have come to you between Sunday and Wednesday? So we get together and we talk about it. We just dive a little bit deeper for those pearls. So join us if you can. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up with our closing affirmation. But once again, please, if you are a member of CSL Leesburg, stay. We're going to have a very short but very important meeting. And we'd love for you to be there and join us. All right, put your hands over your heart. Give yourself just a little extra love today, okay? There's so much going on out there. Love yourself and repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
Thank you. So beautiful. Now look at someone in the room with you. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's your furry companion, and just say to them, you are love. You are love. And now put your hands up in the air. Let's spread some love. It's all love. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. If you are a member, please stay. If you have to leave us, we just send